Hi, I'm Emma. And this is Stu. And this little bundle of energy is my son Finley. When we're not out and about exploring lost history, or up to our knees in mud, we like nothing more than escaping the rat race of life and creating memories together. So thanks for joining us, and welcome to the channel. Hi and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been before, I'm Emma, this is Finley, and today we brought you to the Haven Hopton Holiday Village here on the Norfolk coast. So we've all checked in, which literally involved just driving through the gate, the guy asking us if we knew where we were going, which we did because we'd already had a look on the app. We've booked a bronze caravan for a long weekend, so we're going to take you for a little look around first. Right, so here we are, all sealed, so we know it's been cleaned properly. Let's have a look. And here it is, just a bronze one, this one. And they did do a saver rate, which is slightly cheaper, but there wasn't any of those available. But we just wanted a bit of a no-frills, sort of cheap weekend away, just me and Finley, whilst the weather's still nice. So this looks perfectly adequate for us. But I'm going to turn you around and I'll show you some of the bits and pieces and basically give you a little look at what you can get in a bronze caravan. Right, so Finley wants to show you this, which was pretty much the only thing we got given on our check-in. I don't know if we're supposed to hang it on the door or what we're supposed to do, but before we show you the lounge, we're going to have a little look at the welcome pack, because everything that you actually need is already in the caravan when you arrive. So we have stayed at Haven before, as you may have seen in our previous video. Let's see if it's pretty much the same. So we've got information regarding what activities or what entertainment's on this weekend, which is always nice to know, because sometimes you have to sort of rummage around the internet to try and find out. Some advertisement, I think, for future trips. They always seem to put this information about ants. There's not too many ants around now, thankfully. Obviously, they're always trying to sell you their caravans. We've got our keys, and what else have we got in here? Some information. Oh, I don't quite know what that's about. If you've got any questions or queries or problems, I assume you use that. And one of the most important things, of course, are our passes. So here we are. These we will need to get into the entertainment complex, the swimming pool, so we'll make sure we keep them on us at all times. And anything else? No, I think this is about ordering food. Yes, it is. You can actually order food straight to your table using the app, so that might come in handy. But that is the information pack. No map, which is surprising. Normally you get a map, but I'm sure we'll manage. There is one on the app if you need it. Right, so let's get on with having a look at this bronze caravan here at Haven. So, having walked through the door, as we did a few minutes ago, we've got quite a nice sized table there. I think you could squeeze 6 on if you needed to. I'm not sure if this caravan actually can cater for 6, because sometimes they do actually come with a bed settee which can accommodate another 2. Coffee table with little pull-out chairs or footstools, they're quite handy. Not bad size telly, I think it's 32. It is laminate in here and it is a little bit noisy. I would have rather have had carpet in the lounge, but all in all, it's basic. I would like to have nets, but you know, can't have everything. We should have upgraded if we wanted fancy things like that. But in the kitchen, you've got a little freezer and a really good sized fridge, so that's good to have. Quickly show you boiler cupboard, room, all the usual. Kitchen area with the usual microwaves, plenty of plates. There's always gas cookers in these. It's not my favourite, but we'll make do. And I'm guessing it's just things like bins and stuff in that. I will very likely make a full in-depth video of looking around one of these bronze caravans as well. So if you want to see that, then check that out on the channel. And through here, oh, this is where all the bedrooms are. I say all, there's only 2 in this particular one, but it's only me and Finley. Got the little shower room I can find the light switch. There we go. It's all right. It's adequate. It's they always have quite good size showers. So yeah, plenty of space for one or maybe two if you're lucky enough. Me, I'm not. not this weekend. Some hooks, hanging up coats. Sometimes they lack things like that, so that's handy. And we've got the little twin bedroom. Not too bad. I mean, I've seen closer gaps in the middle of them here before, so this isn't actually that bad. Bit of storage. You've got the USB plug sockets, always really handy to have. I quite like the little details above here and above the mirror here. This is quite a nice little touch, I suppose. But let's have a look through here at the master bedroom. And gosh, it is very warm in here. I think we need to get that window open. But standard double bed, storage, just the usual really. Again, I would like to have had nets in the bedroom, but this is quite nice actually, is that it's got good sized wardrobe space. Nice long mirrors, little vanity unit, and yeah, comes with plenty of coat hangers. And oh, I wasn't expecting this. So, oh, we do in fact have a little ensuite toilet and sink. So that's certainly very handy to have. So there we have it, a very, very quick tour of our bronze caravan. Like I said, I'm going to make an in-depth video if you're actually interested in exactly what sort of features these have. So take a look at that when that's uploaded. But it'll certainly do us for the 3 nights that we're here. Now we've actually brought some tea with us, so we're going to get that on the go. And then Finley wants to go and check out the club. I think that's the first thing he wants to do, so have a little bit of a dance. So I think we're going to get on with that. So just a minor gripe and a bit of a first world problem, I suppose, but when you're sitting up the table eating your dinner, you can't watch the telly. So here we are at the main entertainment complex, and from what I can gather, it's huge. There seems to be a lot of amusements, a lot of sort of sit-on, ride-ons, soft play areas, all sorts of sort of takeaways and things like that. We're going to head on through to the main lounge bar just to see if we can catch just a little bit of the live entertainment before it finishes. So here we are in the Marina Lounge. We didn't get here till about 4:08, so unfortunately Finley did in fact miss the seaside squad, but we kind of knew he would do. But there's still plenty going on. He's just had a little bit of a dance, and there's some bingo coming up, but then I think they've got a live act on until quite late, so still plenty going on, but we're not staying particularly late tonight. We're just coming for a little look and see what's going to be going on over the next few days. Right, so we're back at the caravan now. Quite a dark walk getting back here. They could do a replacing a few of those light bulbs along the road there. But we made it back safely. Just a little look at the entertainment tonight, because it's quite late. We did arrive quite late. Finley's been up since 6 o'clock for school, so we're a bit tired. But tomorrow we're going to get there at 6 o'clock, and hopefully we'll enjoy a whole night of all sorts of entertainment, as well as swimming that we're doing in the morning. We're going to have a proper look around the park, so quite looking forward to that, aren't we? Yeah, it certainly is. He's still happy, slurping away on his sugar-free slushie. But we're going to get to bed, and we'll see you in the morning. So good morning. Slept quite well. The bed was actually quite comfortable, so no complaints there. Today being Saturday, we've actually made a booking for the outdoor swimming pool. In fact, we've made a booking every single day for the outdoor swimming pool. One of the reasons we actually came because they've got quite a good pool here with like flumes and like a little splash park, which Finley absolutely loves. So we're pretty much ready to go and do that. The sun's shining, we're quite lucky. I think this is going to be the nicer day, so we might even pop down to the very close by beach afterwards. But we don't want to miss our reservations at the pool, so better be off. Right, so just on our way to the pool, just passing by one of 2 or 3 children's play areas that they got here. We're yet to explore that yet, so maybe later we'll take Finley for a little whirl on that. It's a little breezy today, but it's not cold, so that's good. But as I said, we're on our way to the pool, which we actually booked a good few days ago using the app. The app is actually a really good way to see what's going on over the next few days, entertainment wise. On there you can book activities such as swimming, you can book things like archery, they've got a lot of children's sort of craft things that they do. Again, you can book it all on this app, which is really handy and quite easy to use. I managed to figure it out, so I'm sure you will. Some of the activities you have to pay for, but if you get in there early enough, some of them are free, so which is great. Now we're taking a bit of a long way to the pool since we've got time, because we wanted to have a little look around the area. We've actually sort of come out of the gate, and we're actually on sort of the main strip that runs along the front of the park. And if you fancy a change of scenery, there's a good few amusements along here, as well as some fish and chips and some cafes and things, which is quite nice. Like I said, if you fancy a change of scenery from the main complex. So we're now coming back up to the main entertainment complex, and now it's light. Hopefully we'll be able to take a better look at the large outdoor swimming pool I believe they also have, as well as the indoor pool. Crazy golf, there's all sorts of things here. It's actually quite a lot of facilities here, certainly a lot more than what they had last year when we were at St. Joseph. But we'll take you for a little look at what we can. So we finally found a map to show you where we are. We are at the main complex, which is just here, and we've come along here to where our caravan is, all the way here in an area called South Reach. You've got the beach along the top there, so this whole site really runs along the coast. The main complex, here we go. So we've got the soft play area and the arcades and the marina lounge, which is where we popped to last night. All sorts of takeaways. You've got Cook's Fish and Chips, Garden House, which is a restaurant, and through here you've got the swimming pool, the other swimming pool here, all sorts of things. Crazy golf, all weather multi-sports court, and of course the owners' lounges, which they always have. But yeah, it's quite a big park. I think we might go for a little bit of an explore around this area at some point. We probably won't do the 9-hole golf course, but we might take the nature trail at some point. So there you go, that's the site. And here we have the exclusive owner's lounge. If you own a caravan, you can use this. It's got a bar, they often do activities. It's got a really nice sort of terracey area there. So one of the perks if you decide to become a Haven owner. So this is where we're going, to the indoor pool. I'm not going to film too much obviously because there's a lot of children and that in there, but looks like it's going to be fun, doesn't it, Finley? Oh, is there? So this is the way in. We've got our access passes, so time to do some swimming. All ready? Yeah, let's go. Right, so the pool was fun. Actually, we could have spent a lot longer in there than an hour, but they give you sort of like an hour time slot when it's a bit busier. So, but we're back tomorrow anyway. Just worth mentioning, we actually did pop in the outdoor pool as well. And although it was middle of September, I wouldn't normally go to an outdoor pool, but it was quite warm. And they've put that roof on, which makes it quite nice, really. I know a lot of people sort of are interested in the temperature of the water. And the indoor pool, again, it was really quite a nice temperature, and I would complain if it wasn't. So there you go. But we're a little bit hungry now, aren't we, Finley? We've got quite an early dinner planned. So we're just going to have a portion of chips to share before we go back and get ourselves smartened up, ready for the evening. Right, so we got a massive portion of chips from the sort of the local chippy. I imagine it's a little cheaper probably than the actual campsite. I think I paid about £4.80 for these. Probably enough to feed us for a few days. But anyway, we're going to go back to the caravan and share them out and have a little bit of an eat before we get ready to go out for tonight's entertainment. And we've got a table booked for a meal. So that'll fill a small hole before we go for our main meal in a little while. That's chips, Finley.
Yummy.
Oh, good. So we actually have a couple of hours left now until our dinner reservation. So I think it's about time we took you for a proper look around this caravan park. First stop, we're going to take a look at the beautiful North Coast. So here we have it, right next door to the caravan park, and there's a couple of accesses, I believe, actually to the beach. It's quite nice. If you fancy something a bit different, just down here, you've got Galston Beach. It's literally just a mile or two away. It's definitely worth a visit if you want to venture off the park for a little while. Right, so that was the lovely beach here, well, at the caravan park, right on the edge. If you're lucky enough to have one of these caravans along there, you got a beautiful view. But I just thought I'd show you a little bit of the access. Those steps aren't actually the only way down. There's also a slope. So obviously, if you've got mobility issues or pushchairs or whatever, there's ways for you to get down as well. But we're now going to head over to back over to the main complex and try and show you as much of this park as we can. But it's really massive, and we've only got about an hour and a half now until our dinner's due. So here we've got the main reception area. I'm assuming that you would come here if you had any issues or anything you wanted to discuss after you checked in. They've also got owner services, which is like an exclusive reception just for owners. There's an awful lot of really good facilities here if you're an owner of a caravan. Not that I'm trying to promote that or anything, but I mean, I can see why a lot of people do it. And just behind the reception, like most caravan parks, particular Haven ones, we've got the little mini market. It sells all your sort of essential bits and pieces that you might need. Of course, milk, bread, bits and pieces, buckets and spades, in case you haven't brought those with you. Just bear in mind, of course, that they're not usually the cheapest places to shop. There is actually a Tesco's about 5 minutes drive down here if you'd rather save a few pennies. Just over here, I'm not going to get too close, but we've actually got another play park. This part of the park to the east is quite different really to where we're staying. I quite like how it feels quite leafy and spacious, and there's plenty of parking, but yeah, Yeah, I really like the way that this park is set out. It's not too cramped. So it looks like I've lost Finley to one of the many play parks around here. I quite like how each sort of little pocket of areas has its own little park, often overlooked by the caravan, so you can sort of see your children playing if they're old enough to do it unsupervised, which is quite nice. But I think it's about time we finally got towards the complex where our table is booked. So just inside the main complex here, we've got a massive amusement arcade with plenty of 2p machines, which we love. You've got the main marina bar just through there, which the entertainment starts about 6 o'clock. I think the sort of more adult things come on about 8. And you've got Papa John's, you've got the restaurant that we're going to be going through, which is just through here. There's loads in here, to be honest. It's so much bigger than I actually was expecting it to be. Right, that's enough of a look around for now. It's time we were going for our tea. Plenty to choose from, the usual sort of burgers and grills and sort of classics. Me, I am probably going to go for, well, I always go for the Hunter's chicken. And here it is. Took all of 15 minutes, so can't grumble about that, although it is quite quiet. Finley's quite happy with his. He went for the burgers, corn on the cob and chips, and a little bit of extra salad there, which we weren't expecting. And I did indeed go for the Hunter's chicken. So yeah, oh, and a free drink with the kids' meals. Really can't grumble for £1. So that was the Garden House restaurant here, their main restaurant. And I have to say, having been to the Mash and Barrel at the Haven in Clacton last year, I didn't have high hopes, but surprisingly, it was all right. The portion sizes were good. It was cooked well. If I have to have one little gripe, a bit too much barbecue sauce on that chicken, but you know, that's just me being picky. Finley had more than enough, and it only cost £1. In fact, all in all, I think we paid about 16 quid. So I think we might even consider coming tomorrow, maybe, mightn't we, Finley? It's so cheap. I mean, they could have saved £3 on if I'd have just got like a glass of cold tap water. So. Right, so having popped back for a little bit of a rest. We needed a rest after all that food. And to change my batteries in my camera, because we've done so much more recording than I thought I was going to do. We are now off down to the main show bar again, where we're going to have a bit of a dance, aren't we? As promised, we're hopefully going to catch the beginning of the show and basically dance, I think, until our legs won't dance anymore. So that was a fun night, wasn't it, Finley? Yeah, he's got his teddy. What's his name again? George, I think. That's his favourite one, his favourite character this year. But Finley has been doing some quite epic dancing, as you may have seen. Entertainment was all right, actually. But we're going to head back to the caravan a little earlier tonight because we've got another full day here tomorrow. So good night, and we'll catch you in the morning. So good morning, it's our last full day today. We had plans to go on a nice little nature walk this morning, but unfortunately, typical British weather, it's raining. So we may have to take a bit of a rain check on that, but we've still got other plans. We've got reservations at the pool for 3 o'clock, and there's some things I think going on in the lounge bar before then. So hopefully we might have a little look at that. And also we've got another meal booked. We did decide to book again in the restaurant, as well as plenty of dancing, I'm sure, to be had this evening. So catch us on that and see what we actually managed to do today in the end.
Rain.
So unfortunately, this rain, which wasn't actually forecast, appears to be a little bit more persistent than what we'd hoped. So I think we're going to have to take a bit of a rain check, like I said, on our nature walk, because even if it does stop raining, it's going to be really muddy there. And we've decided to take this opportunity, haven't we, to check out the soft play area, which I suppose is what it's there for. So we're going to do that, and then hopefully at 1 o'clock there might be a bit of a meet and greet of the Seaside squad, which I'm hoping to take Finley on. So hopefully the rain will eventually clear up later, but in the meantime we've got our raincoats on and we'll make the most of it. Right, so that kept Finley occupied for about an hour, and we're now going through to the main lounge bar, and hopefully there'll be some daytime activities. Finley's got his character ready, so with any luck he might even be able to meet him. So that's been a couple of hours of fun, hasn't it? And Finley got to have a little bit of a dance and this picture taken with the characters. But we're now going to go back to the caravan, have a little bit of lunch and get ready to go swimming. And it looks like the rain has finally stopped. Right, so we had a nice little swim session. Pool was a little bit colder today. I know I'm picky, but I wasn't the only person who happened to mention it as they were getting in. So I didn't stay in for the whole hour. I sort of got out and sat on the side and just watched Finley, who didn't care at all. But we're all back, cleaned up, and we're now heading off to the restaurant again for a meal before we see what's going on down at the show bar. So here's dinner. Again, only took about 10 or 12 minutes to come. What have you got there, Finley? Macaroni cheese, chips and corn on the cob again, and the little drink that comes with the meal. And I've gone for the fish and chips, mushy peas. So that was another very successful meal at the Garden House. That fish was really amazing. And with Finley's meal only being like £1, I mean, I think we might come again tomorrow. But I definitely recommend the restaurant. But I believe the show bar tonight has a bit of an Aladdin sort of themed pantomime thing. So just about to start, so we better go and watch that. Go on then, go, go, go. Oh, so what a great last night that was. All sorts of entertainment going on, and Finley yet again, where is he? He is. Dragged me onto the dance floor as usual. But we've got to pack up and go in the morning, so I think it's time for a slightly earlier night, I think, don't you?
Yep. Well, a bit of telly and a fun night.
Bit of telly and an early night. Good night. So, good morning. I thought I'd spare you watching me make tea this morning, but needless to say, I wouldn't be able to string a conversation together if I hadn't already had one. But anyway, it's about 8:30. I slept reasonably well again, despite the fact that we had a massive thunder and lightning storm come over at about sort of midnight. So that was fun, whilst the caravan was rocking. But anyway, yes, we've got about an hour or so to get ourselves packed up. I did quite a lot of it last night, actually, so I don't have very much to do. But I thought I might take this opportunity to give you a little bit of a conclusion about our actual caravan stay. Few pros and few cons that we found over the last few days. So we'll start with the pros. Very comfortable bed, very powerful and warm shower. They're two things that are really quite important to us. We stayed in a bronze caravan, obviously, so there's actually only one that's below this, which is called the Saver, which I think, other than it being a bit smaller, I don't think there's an awful lot of difference between this and that one. Personally, me and Finley have kind of been rattling around in this quite big caravan this week, and so we wouldn't have minded the Saver if they'd had one available, but they didn't. What other pros can I think of? The fact that it's quite modern. I mean, these caravans are not very old, so other than minor wear and tear, they're not scruffy or ancient, so that's quite nice. And really, we had everything that we could have wanted. No complaints at all, really. Right, and now for one or two little cons that I've sort of discovered over the last 3 days. And some of these are me maybe being a little bit picky, or it's just personal preference. But we did find one or two little things that just niggled a little bit this weekend. The first one, the fact, and the most important one, I'll be honest with you, that there is no net curtains. And there's a lot of very large windows in here. Not so bad in the lounge, but I really found it quite annoying in the bedroom, because we back onto a road, and so we are literally 2 meters away from people walking past, and I just felt a little exposed. I would like to see maybe nets in the bedroom, if that's not too much trouble. I spent most of the time with the curtain shut, and it's really dark in there, so I had to have the light on. So, like I said, maybe I'm being a bit fussy, but I don't like not having net curtains up. Again, this is a budget caravan. I guess you pay for what you get. Maybe you get them in the silvers. We had it last year in the silver, so I'm not sure. The other thing that I've just discovered, the fact that they've got general waste and recycling bins underneath here. Great. I've spent all weekend separating off my recycles as I normally would. And then I came to empty them out, again, as you would. Can I find a recycling point to empty my bin in? No. The nearest 2 or 3 that I found are just general waste. I found one for glass. I didn't have any glass. But that's a little bit annoying because, we all want to try and encourage everybody to recycle. And I felt really bad not being able to put it in a recycle bin after spending all weekend doing that. So that's a little bit annoying. Okay, and I think probably my last little one, and again, this is just me being picky, but we've got this lovely little vanity unit here. You can imagine sitting there and doing your hair and popping on your makeup. The only problem is there's nowhere to actually sit. Yeah, you can pop yourself on the edge of the bed, but I sure as hell can't see my makeup from 2 or 3 meters away. So I think there should probably be a stool under there. But I ended up having to sort of kneel down to sort of use it. So that was a bit frustrating, as well as the fact that we've already mentioned, I think, that there is only one light in here. And I slept on this side of the bed because it's my side to sleep on. And just sort of stretch over to turn the main light off. I would like to have a little lamp. Again, maybe that's me just being a little fussy. Right, so I think that brings us to the conclusion of our caravan. Again, like I said, this was just a bronze caravan. I expected something to be, a little on the crappy side. I didn't pay a lot. Pleasantly surprised. So I think we may consider booking one of these again. Finley needs a bit more sleep. I might even have a look at those Saver ones. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a review of that. Of course, if you want to see an in-depth walkthrough of this caravan, there is also one on the channel. So take a look at that. But we better hand back our keys before the cleaner comes a-knocking. And we're going to go swimming as well as one or two other things, assuming that the weather stays nice. So fingers crossed. So just got to the swimming pool and it's nice and quiet today, isn't it, Finley? Yeah, so we can stay as long as we want. And Finley's got his new goggles, so he's quite happy. Because I broke yours yesterday, yeah. Right, let's go. nice couple of hours in the swimming pool. And because it was quiet, we could literally stay as long as we wanted, which was really nice. I've not really spoken too much about the pool because there's always people in it and obviously we can't show you, but I did manage to get a few sneaky little bits of footage as it was closing, so which I'm showing you now. It's actually really good. It's got quite a decent flume. It's got a little splash area for kids. It's got jacuzzis. Probably one of the better Haven swim pools, I would say. So we certainly enjoyed our 3 swimmer sessions, haven't we, Finley? But obviously we've checked out already, but you can stay as long as you want. Your entertainment passes don't actually end until the evening. So we're just going to hang around until we get fed up, I think, and decide to drive home. But first off, a bit of lunch, I think. Another successful meal at the restaurant. You might be thinking we've used the restaurant quite a lot, and I wouldn't normally, but with Finley's dinner only being £1, it's costing us about 12 quid, so it's kind of cheaper than cooking, I think. But no, of course, all seriousness, if you've got a family and that consists of a lot of adults, like I've got grown-up children, then yeah, you're looking at a bit expensive, but you know, just for me and Finley, it was all right, wasn't it? But the weather's holding out, so we've decided to see if we can find the nature trail and golf course that we were going to look for yesterday before it started raining. And we just want to try and show you as much as we can, really, and it's sort of one of the last things that we've not shown you. So the map says it's this way, so let's have a look. Just taking a little bit of a shortcut. Not a lot of people know this, but this track running right through the park used to be an old train line from Galston down to Lowestoft. So there you go, there's a bit of useless information that you didn't want to know. Yay, I finally found a recycle bin, although it is about 20 minutes walk away from where our caravan was. So I think we're just walking around in circles. I suppose that's what happens when you haven't got a map, but like I think I might have mentioned earlier in the video, we weren't given a map in our welcome pack, which I think we should have been. And this isn't the easiest park to navigate if you don't really know where you're going. But I've just seen a signpost, so I think we're finally on the right path. And finally, we have the golf course. I can't remember off the top of my head how much it costs to around here, but I will pop it up on the screen if I remember. But they've got a little pitch and putt there, which I did hear somebody say it was free to use that. I don't know if that's true. And little reception where you can, of course, hire out your equipment. And here we have it. Quite a nice golf course for a holiday camp. And just round the back of the golf club hut there, we've got our little nature route, which is marked on the maps. I don't really know what to expect. It does warn us of the possibility of segways, so we'll be vigilant. But let's have a look and see what sort of nature we can find. Yet another pond. I'm going to assume that since this is right near that ranger's hut, this is probably where they do the pond dibbing. These lovely lilies here with the flowers on, that's quite nice. And I guess this is where the people who stay, who had a considerably larger budget than we did for their holidays. Very nice. So that was a little look at the nature trail, although I think it turned out to be more of an area for cut grass and dumping old fence panels. But still, we wanted to show you everything, so that's a little something that you can do if you just want to get away from it for a little bit. I suppose when the weather's a bit nicer, there's probably quite a nice little walk. But the weather has actually started to turn now. We are expecting rain, so I think it's probably time we headed off home. But not before Finley reminds me that we still have our tokens from the arcades that we need to go and swap for some prizes. So yes, well then after we've done that, I'm afraid we're going to have to head home. Oh, so that took ages for Finley to pick, but what did you choose in the end, Finley? He got a pencil case and he's got a few little sweeties inside that. Adds a bit of a treat because we don't normally have gummy sweeties, do we? No. Anyway, I think we need to get back to the car and get home, and it looks like it's just started raining quite hard outside. Right, so that's the end of our trip. I was rather hoping to do this little conclusion with a beautiful backdrop, but it's just started to rain outside and it's really windy, so I'm afraid we've had to be relegated to the car, so oh well, it is what it is. But anyway, so it's getting on for tea time now on Monday, so we've actually spent another full day here, which we were sort of quite lucky. If you're wondering why, with it being a school day, Finley's not actually at school, it's because he actually started a new specialist school this term, and he's not doing full time for a couple of weeks as yet, so we thought we'd take a cheeky little break before he starts school full time, hence the reason we're here in the middle of September. But if you get the opportunity, if you've got younger children, and you can also come a little bit out of season, it is quite a bit cheaper and a little bit quieter, so I would definitely recommend trying to book then if you can. So our thoughts on the actual weekend. I think that if you're prepared to join in with the activities and you like swimming and all the rest of it, I think it's really good value for money. I mean, we have literally not left the park all weekend, and we've found so much to do, and we could have actually probably found so much more to do. So I think for a weekend, I think it's ideal. I mean, there's a lot in the area if you want to venture a little bit further afield, but we booked this because we don't live too far down the road, literally just to use the facilities on the park. So we really hoped you've enjoyed watching our video. Well done if you've got this far. It's ended up being a lot longer than I expected it to be, but there was just so much to do here. And it just goes to show that you can have a really great weekend without having to travel too far away, because we certainly have. And we might even do this again in the future. There's a few more havens around this area, so watch this space and give us a subscribe if you want to see a few more like this, because I'm sure they'll be popping up in the next few months. But anyway, here from Haven Hopton Holiday Village on the Norfolk coast, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again. Bye.